Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this is No More Water. Fire. Next time. Let me get this headphone down, son, so you won't hear feedback. I have a very interesting title today. Here's how I mentioned how the tail is wagging the dog. This is coming from the Project 2025 uh, project. Many of the things in Project 2025, many people didn't realize that it was hurting the other communities more than it would black people because most of the things in Project 2025, black people have been going through and is going through it already. There's nothing new to us. That's why we're not reacting the way that they counted on us to. And now they're reacting more to us than we are to them. They cancel affirmative action, DEI. They're saying that anytime a black person has a job, they're not qualified for it, but it hasn't affected us much. Because when they canceled those programs, they didn't realize that it was affecting their community more than ours because they were benefiting more from it than us. Any type of program that's beneficial, you can believe it's not for us. Even if they put a black face on it, it's not for us. It's for them welfare. Social Security. Black people used to couldn't get Social Security because black people mostly had jobs where they were domestic jobs and weren't paying taxes. They fixed it that way. That's why in the beginning, black people couldn't get Social Security or welfare. You see, now many of the things they're instituting are actually backfiring onto mostly white people. See, white women benefited more from DEI than anyone, and affirmative action also. Black people benefit very little. There were some black women who benefited from affirmative action because they were seen as a double minority, black and female. But in the beginning, they didn't even have females in there. They did it to offset what black people would be getting. Remember, everything used to be black and white. Now they put black people in the minority status, and that stopped a lot for us. That include us in with a whole lot of other people, and that hasn't been beneficial for us. So you see, yeah, we are. But see, we're not hurting so much like they thought we would because we're not. See what they wanted. They needed a certain reaction from us. We're not giving them that reaction. That's why they cannot really do the things that they want to do to us. You see those white people out in the streets? They're beating, dragging white women, white men, shooting them in the head with uh, um, pepper bullets and all of that. That's really meant for us. But we didn't respond the way that they thought that we would. They thought when they canceled all those different programs, we'd be out in the streets protesting. But see, people don't realize that black people stopped protesting after Ferguson in numbers and just about has stopped it completely. We're thinking of different strategies while we're letting others use our old strategy. They want to get out there fine. But everyone keeps saying, where the blacks at? And you're going to be next. No, you're the next. See, what they're doing to you, they've always did pull black people out the car, throw us on the ground, beat us, because you didn't jump when they said jump. They always did have black people sitting in handcuffs over routine traffic stop where they used to just ask for your driver's license and run your name. They start having you all on the ground in handcuffs over routine traffic stop. They've been busting up in black people's houses with no knock warrants, unaliving people because those no knock warrants are really execution warrants. Because when you break in a person's house, you're going to startle them. Unannounced, you're going to startle them. Or they may reach for their weapon. Well, when they get startled and make sudden moves, they get unalived. And they don't have to make the moves. Breonna Taylor was unalive, lying in bed. So they're really execution warrants. They've been unaliving black folks. I thought he had a gun. Well, I thought they had a gun because they do it to the men and women now. The 12-year-old Tamir Rice playing with his little gun in the park. The man got the car and in 2 seconds shot him and unalived him. He should have been dealt with. The family business. He should have been dealt with. Yeah, but look, back to what I was saying. So we're not reacting the way that they thought that we would. We've been there, done that. To these other people, the new N words, how did they don't like it? And you know what they have the nerve to say? Why come you're not hurting the blacks? They want us to be hurt. And then someone come join in and help them. Why would we help somebody who want to see us hurt? Still calling us the N word. Latinos, still calling us the N word. Still talking against us. They want to see us deported. Then at the same time saying, come help them. I wouldn't hand you a glass of water if you was thirsty. That's how much I'll help you. Anybody else want to do it, they can do it. I wouldn't do a thing for you. You don't insult me and my people and then come and ask for help. You've been insulting us over the decades. You thought you was better than us, all of you, immigrants. But the only thing about it, and you can best believe, they're going to start well, I can't say they're going to, but I hope they start deporting white immigrants because they're not bothering them much because they want this nation to become a white nation. That's what they really want, according to Project 2025. But see, now that we're not reacting to them, they wanted to come up in our neighborhood, and we start making a big scene, but we didn't. So now they don't know how to act. So instead of them wagging us, we're wagging them. I have a few videos I'm gonna play here. Put my headset on so I can hear it. And this is one white woman. She's going to tell the story first.
Why do poor white people vote against themselves time and time again? They vote for Trump and the other MAGA politicians only to have every promise broken, prices go up, social supports evaporate. Here's why. First, remember what I talked about recently, the psychological wage of whiteness. That term was coined by W.E. Du Bois to describe poor white folks being paid with social status rather than decent living conditions. They're convinced by the elites that they're better than black folks, better than immigrants, Latinos, LGBTQ folks. They're convinced that being white puts them in the same league as the elites. Of course, the elites know otherwise, but the poor whites buy it because they're grasping at straws. Second, they are convinced that the people they're supposedly better than are the big threat in their lives. Not the rich, not the corporations or the politicians, but immigrants, black folks, welfare queens, LGBTQ, criminals, the usual scapegoats. Third, the elites promise protection to poor white folks. A politician comes along and says, I'll keep those people in their place, or I'll kick them out, or I'll lock them up. Or, more politely, I'll defend your values. They don't say, I'll make your life better. Well, they say it, they just don't mean it. They'll say, I'll make sure they don't get ahead of you. Fourth, they vote for the punishment, not the policy. When a law gets passed that slashes public housing or school funding or food aid, they think, good, that'll stop those lazy freeloaders. And they do some mental gymnastics that make them believe it's worth losing those things for their own families in order to see those problematic black people and immigrants and so forth being punished. It gets to a point where just seeing those guys being punished is reward enough, which is pretty sick. But that's how behavior works. Their housing, schools, and groceries are on the chopping block too, but they blame that on Biden. Always a scapegoat. They get hit by the same policies they were told would punish the others, and they blame the wrong people. The system fails them, but they've been trained to blame the scapegoats, not the cause, which is the rich people, the people they voted for. So they think the problem is still those people, not the fact that they were personally manipulated by the people they voted for. They're basically saying, I'll take the hit as long as you don't help them, or worse, as long as you hurt them. That is the psychological wage Du Bois was talking about, the trade-off between material security for racial status. And that's a crying shame, folks. One share, like, save, and comment shows that you care about white people taking responsibility for racism in America. This work is important to me, and I want to keep doing it. If you want to support me, consider a donation of any size to coffee.com/Kelly Snyder. And yeah, spelling is important. Get curious.
You see, there's a lot of white people. Like I had said before, we have more white allies than people of color and any of those people. We've had more white allies helping us than anyone. But I tell you right now, I really don't like the homosexuals being included with black people. Their sexual choice has nothing to do with our race. They have no business being in the same content. Now, if the people of color don't mind, that's their business. And if other black folks don't mind, that's their business. But when I talk, I mention race and ethnicity or nationality. That's why. See, the Democrats want you to have a whole laundry list of everyone. You don't have to go down that list every time you talk. You can just say marginalized people. They used to say black people. Now they want to lump us in with everyone else. But I rather they keep, well, they can do what they want to. But I'm not mentioning homosexuals in the same sentence with being black. Anyone else can do whatever they want to. But I'm not going to. You see, white people thought, not just white people and people of color thought that everything was going to come and hurt us. Not knowing we've been there, done that. You see, when they thought that when they canceled the Bill of Rights, the voting rights, it was hurt black people. But see, black people are too injured. It won't work like it did last time during the last Reconstruction that brought about Jim Crow because black people are too intertwined in the system now. It's not working. And the other people are not responding the way Trump and his people thought that they would. They thought black people would get fired off jobs. The only reason that, in their minds, the only reason that people hired black people is because of affirmative action and DEI. If we stop those programs, black people would all lose their jobs and they would be out there on the farms. But it didn't work that way. Black people still have their jobs. I know some got fired, like I said, on the federal jobs, and really not suffering the way most people are. But not coming out there, getting involved with ICE and the police. You may have a few come out there, but that's on them. And if they get caught up, get down there in the alligator Alcatraz, them alligators nipping at their butts, need to come ringing back to black folks for help. You decided to go out there. Black Friday ended up being a bust. Well, many people just don't have the money. But, that's the way it goes. Wasn't nobody crying when we was out there. We didn't cry for anybody to come help us. Like I said, there was many white people came out and helped us, but we didn't ask for it. They came on their own. We didn't cry and beg for anyone. But see, Project 2025 is not wagging us. We're wagging it. Listen. I want you to listen to this. See, I like to play this stuff where you see many white people where they went wrong. They thought this country was theirs and anyone else was just here on borrowed time. But see, they immigrated here. We didn't. I want you to listen to this one from this piece of trash.
This is what a MAGA mind is.
Brand spanking new Lexus SUV. How is that possible? Integrate into the same neighborhood that I worked my entire life to get into. I don't understand it.
Why? Oh, yeah, here's this guy right here in his brand new Lexus.
There he is,
there
right
he
there.
is, right there. That guy right
It's
there.
what Make America Great Again has always meant to certain people. It's never been about patriotism. It's always been about hierarchy, about making sure black people stay in a place that makes them comfortable. Because let's be honest, imagine living in a country where 400 years you receive every privilege available. Free labor for almost 2 centuries, millions of acres of free land through the Homestead Act, government assistance when black folks were excluded, white veterans received GI Bills as sent them to college when black veterans who served the country faithfully did not, white home ownership through FHA loans that black people didn't get while black families were redlined into poverty. There was affirmative action for white folks long before the phrase was ever even created. Let me name a few more. Tax benefits, union protections, government contracts, Social Security programs that originally excluded black labor, corporate subsidies, banking systems built on predatory denial of black access, policing designed to guard white prosperity, and the unspoken privilege of always being seen and deserving, and all that for generations. And yet here we are, after everything designed to hold us back, we still here. It makes them a failure. We're still educating ourselves, still building businesses. It makes them a failure. Still growing wealth, still buying homes, still pulling up in our Lexuses. That makes them a failure. We still thrive in the ways this country has never planned for us to thrive. And it makes them feel like failures. Because that's what they are. That's why it bothers them. Because to them, our success is what it is. It makes them failures. They feel better when they can look down on us. They feel safer when we have to struggle. They feel whole when we are broken. So when they say make America great again, what they are really saying is let's go back and reset the hierarchy. Let's put them back in their place, which is beneath us. Let's strip away any progress that they've made. Let's take away all their rights, all their opportunities, all the wins that make them feel equal. Because for us to feel equal, it makes them feel like failures. Because they've had every advancement known to man, and yet here we are, and that's why our excellence is so powerful, y'all. Because every time we disrupt the narrative they depended on for 400 years, every time we win and we break the system that was never designed for us to succeed, every time we shine, we expose the weakness of a structure built on stolen labor, stolen land, and stolen wealth. It's their failure. This is why our success is revolutionary. It's not just about your car, your house, or your lifestyle. It's a reminder that despite every barrier placed in our way, we still here, thriving, winning, and redefining greatness in our terms. And they're still what they are. Failures. Now drop a black fist in the comments and share this with someone who needs to hear this gem.
Turn my mic back on. You see that? That's just what I was talking about. Now he says he worked hard all his life to move into his house, like the black man didn't. Like the house was given to him, the Lexus was given to him. Like she said, it make him feel like a failure. How did you blow a 400-year head start? That's what I'd like to know. A 400-year head start. I tell you how you did it. Because of your racism. See, when you didn't have jobs, you was living like dogs, like many of you are now. You let them bring in a bunch of people from the other side of the world to work for free on jobs that you should have had. How stupid can you be? But because of your racism, it was fine. Right now, you starve rather than go work on those farms. You poor whites, because you think black people are supposed to be out there. Because that's what Trump and his stupid people thought. That black people didn't have jobs, even though they see black people working every day. Going to work, living good, having a good time. Even the poor black people have a good time. Your poor people are not having a good time. You see, we're the tail wagging the dog, but you never saw it. And right now, it's really coming out. You're doing everything you can to hurt us, but we keep on wagging you. It's not hurting us. Do you notice how black people are all at once together? Many people say it's spiritual, I don't know. All at once decide to stop protesting in numbers. It's always going to be some, a few. After Ferguson, black people left that protesting alone. I told you how I would be at those our live stream of Black Lives Matter rally. Turn around and I couldn't find a black person in the audience of about 600 people. And it was happening that way a lot. That No Kings rally. I did 2 rallies over in St. Louis, Missouri. Saw a few black people, but not many. I mean, when you have a protest like that, No Kings, they had about 10,000 people. The largest, I believe that was the largest protest ever in St. Louis because there's usually not any here. Out of 10,000 people I saw was maybe 20 people, 20 black people. And you know what they did? They had the black woman in the front, kept carrying the banner and had black people on bullhorns. And those are going to be the people the police go after first. Stop letting yourself be used like that. Most people still don't care for us, even if they pretend to. If it come down to it, they'll come with the same mess. Let me play this other video. I want you to see this one.
85% of welfare and food stamp moochers are white, live in southern red states, and vote for Republicans.
There are no organizations dedicated to the welfare of rural whites.
How many people have noticed that just about every Democratic policy that white conservatives despise, they benefit most from?
That welfare was created for white people.
You guys heard elected Republicans are fighting with the Trump administration on the background because some of the Trump executive orders are hurting Republican.
If you're white and you had anyone in your family serve in the military in the past 400 or so years, you got welfare. The United States issued 500,000 land grants before it passed the Homestead Act.
And I just got to realize, ladies and gentlemen, all of these benefits, when were they put in place? Think about it. Affirmative action, welfare. These things did not start yesterday or 10 years ago. We are talking about things that started 50, 70, 100 years ago. And if white people claim it's black people that benefit from all of these benefits, when did black people get to benefit from affirmative action or welfare? 100 years ago. Because clearly by that time they were not even considered people. When did they ever get to benefit from them?
So I posted about white folks on food stamps, and one thing I kept seeing was that welfare was created for white people. I knew that it was created during the New Deal, so I did some more research because I didn't really know the whole story, and I thank you guys for responding and helping me learn stuff. So during the Great Depression is when we saw the beginning of things like Social Security.
Again. I didn't want to play her all over again. But it shows you where poor whites vote against their own interest in order to hurt black people. So you're the one doing everything, just looking at us and forming everything you do, thinking about us. You're thinking about us more than we're thinking about you. Tail wagging the dog. See, for one thing, they say that poor whites vote against their interests. I've had people tell me were on jobs, they were voting for a raise, and if the vote they went through from the for a certain amount, and so they kept presenting an amount, and the employers would have the workers they put in an amount. But you know what? They see what happened. The white guys found out that the black guys would get a raise also. Along with them, they voted the raise down. They'd rather not get a raise than to see black people get a raise. That's why we don't have health care, free health care, because they don't want to see black people get free health care. They don't want to see us get it. Do you know that college used to be for going to college used to be free? Except the Ivy League school. But most colleges used to be free. You know what? When they start charging those high tuitions, when black people start going, they start admitting black people. Do you know when they started in college, the athlete has to maintain a C average? That didn't used to happen. When a lot of black people start getting college scholarships for sports, that's when they started to see average. They don't mind themselves suffering as long as they think they can make us suffer. I mean, how stupid can you be? You'll vote down anything for yourself just to keep black people from benefiting. I mean, like you'll cut off your nose to spite your face. You know what that is? That's not you controlling us. That's us controlling you. Everything you do with black people in mind. And you know what? Just to show you how much we're hated. Do you know that what the Affordable Care Act, they call Obamacare, that white people would tell you, I like the Affordable Care Act, I just don't like that Obamacare. Not realizing that the government gave the Affordable Care Act the slur name of Obamacare to fool white people. They're the same thing. They'll tell you how they don't like the differences in it, not knowing that it's the same thing. And you know what? Obamacare, which is the Affordable Care Act, was a Republican concept. They tried to get it passed, but they couldn't. So Obama took it up to get it passed. And because the black president was trying to get their bill passed, the Republicans went against it. And a lot of white people don't know it. This was actually Obamacare was actually a Republican bill. But now that the black president was getting it passed, all of a sudden it's no good. You know what I mean? They let us wag them. They this they hate us so much until that they'll hurt themselves trying to hurt us. And we're good. We're not bothering anyone. And so far no one's bothering us. And we like to keep it that way. We're not immigrants, we're not going anywhere. If anything, white people are more immigrants than us. They immigrated here, we didn't. We were forced here. Our ancestors was forced here. So we're more American than they are. We don't have another nationality nationality or ethnicity that we can claim. We know our ancestors come from Africa. And the thing about it, you see how They're talking about getting rid of all the thugs and the gangsters and thieves. You know what? That's what their ancestors were. Europe sent their worst here. You notice how white people never talk about going back to Europe? The white Americans, they never talk about going back to Europe. You know why? They don't want them there. They don't want them. Their ancestors were sent away because they emptied out the prisons. They were the worst of the lot. And now they're trying to do to other people what their ancestors did to them. And they just want us so bad, but just can't get us so far. And if they come up with something illegal, and if they start messing with us in numbers, it's going to be something. So far, they haven't. And keep them immigrants away from you. That's what happened in Chicago. Had them people from what's that, Venezuela, El Salvador, living up in that building, running electric cords out through the hall. You all clothing them and feeding them. Let their Puerto Rican cousins do that. Because they wouldn't have done it for black people. They always talking about how they don't want to be in the black area. Send them to you. All should have sent them to the Puerto Rican areas. That's their Puerto Rican cousins. Then you get people coming up after you because you letting them people up in your building. I got another video I want you to see. I like showing these videos because it help back up the point.
Because you've created a problem for the white working class and the white underclass, but you want to make them think that blacks have created that problem. So you attack DEI as though that was an instrument that gave blacks an advantage over whites. And that's really what it's doing. They know that the people who have profited most by DEI is white people. But they don't know that because the people they're trusting is telling them just the opposite. If you want to find out who's getting the preference in the jobs, it's still white people and primarily white women right now, right? You want to find out who's getting the food stamps, it's white women. You want to find out who's the majority on welfare, it's still white people. But they don't want to accept that about themselves. You really have to show them that. They're told that black people are getting all these advantages because of DEA. They're being given jobs they're not qualified for, what they don't deserve, and that's why you're unemployed.
You couldn't say it any better. And they're doing this thing about food stamps. And see, white people pretended like they were living so good. And they living like dogs, a lot of them. It's coming out. Because what happened, they could spend their food stamps and no one knew it. But see, they're living terrible. Many of them worse than most black people. But they make it seem like as though they were doing so well. See, as long as they had a black person to look down on, they felt that they were doing okay. It was okay with their suffering, as long as they can look down on a black person. Do you know that they're still hollering this thing about like black people are the only ones getting EBT? They're still doing that. And see, Lyndon Johnson said, if you can make the lowest white person think they're better than the best black person, you can pick their pockets and they'll never know it. If you can give them someone to look down on, they'll empty their pockets for you. And that's what white people have done. They didn't mind suffering as long as they thought they were better than black people, which they weren't. I mean, that's why they did that with Wall Street. Every time Rosewood, there were many Wall Streets with Rosewood all over the nation. The original Cowboys was black. But see, what happened was they eliminated. They didn't want white people to know all that. That's why they want them to stay asleep and don't be woke. Yeah, and see, they hate to see black success because it makes them look bad because they had a 400-year head start and they blew it. Who blows a 400-year head start? Let me show you something real quick. You know, these St. Louis Flyers is gonna play in the state championship game on 6 o'clock Tuesday in Normal, Illinois. I'm not getting off subject because I'm gonna show you why I'm talking about this. They postponed the game from Saturday to Tuesday because of weather. But that's something I want to see. One of the Fenwick, they're gonna play the Fenwick Flyers. Let me show you what one of the Fenwick fans posted. Read that. I'm gonna give you a chance to read it. The attention these St. Louis families. Unfortunately, EBT and food stamp will not be accepted at the Illinois State University concession stands. Make sure stuff as much Long John Silver's into your skinny jean pockets. It's supposed to be ads, but he put at humanly possible. Thank you for your cooperation, East St. Louis. And that's a response someone gave. And see, I read all types of statements from East St. Louis fans. They haven't posted anything like that about the race of the team that they're playing. See, you know, when we bring up race, we're playing the race card. Well, see, the thing about it, they need to stop putting it in the deck. They're the ones who put it in the deck. And we'll talk about what we want to, just like you do. When white people fight, which they do all the time, you talk about the fight. When black people fight, you talk about their race. But we don't care. You notice black people don't even respond. Because you know why? We know you're a people in decline. You're in decline all over the world. The United States is not going to be always be the leading nation in the world. No nation never is. A nation ruled for maybe 80, 100 years. They have to be moved out the way. And Donald Trump is not here to save you. Donald Trump is being used to destroy this nation by bricks. They want to more spread out, and the corporations all want and all. They're not worried about nationality. They worry about money. They want things more spread out. They're using Donald Trump to destroy this nation. But you thought he came to save it. And see, the thing about it is that you always say things are not about race. But you always bring it up race, no matter what it is. Hearing the feedback. So that's why we talk about whatever we want to. You don't tell us what to talk about. We talk about race, you, your mama, your daddy, your dog, anybody we want to talk about. I don't know why people think they can control what we do, but they do whatever they want to do. And so, let me play this one for you. Listen to this. I like playing these silly folks. Some of them be good folks, good comments, but some of them very silly.
I really don't think that people are understanding just how bad this is, so I'm going to explain it to you. For those of you who don't know, the Department of Education is redefining what they consider to be professional degrees or careers. Professions that were cut from this list that are no longer eligible for federal student loans are advanced nursing degrees, APNs and NPs, PAs, teachers, social workers, counselors, speech pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists. Now, these were the degrees that still were left in. Notice that chiropractic care and theology are in this. Now, what do all these degrees that were cut from that list have in common? Well, that's easy. They are female-dominated professions. And this was in Project 2025, just like we told you. They, those at the top, do not want women working. They do not want women in professional fields. So if they make it so that the only people who can get into these graduate programs are people who are rich enough to pay cash for it, or people who are privileged enough to be able to qualify for and pay for.
They only want white men in those fields. See, white women, you thought you was hurting black people too. See, the thing about it, if they consider professional degrees or not, it won't matter to black women as long as they can get their job and make their money. Now, she said that, but they're not stopping you from getting in those fields. You see, what they don't realize is that black people know how to maneuver and get scholarships, and pay for things in a way that white people don't know because you never had to. We find a way. You don't know because you never had to find those ways like we do. We're gonna be good. Just wait. The black women gonna be good. Wait and see. Because when if the black women want to get into nursing, whatever, they'll find a way. They always have. Whatever the, of course, they wanted to get women out of the workplace. But you thought it was gonna be black women, didn't you? You didn't know it was gonna be white women also. You thought it was gonna be black women being drugged in the streets. Yeah, they're dragging white women in the streets, beating white men, throwing them in jail without due process. That used to be us. Sometimes still is, but mostly y'all right now. That's what the focus is on. That's why we say we've been there, done that. All the things you're going through, been there, done that. So no need to come crying to us. We don't have time for your tears, because no one wiped ours away. You notice how the government, they react more to us. Tail wagging the dog, but they don't see it. We're not reacting to anything they do. They're reacting to what we do. We are minding our own business. And do you know that there's still some Latinos saying that they need to start deporting black people? They're angry because we won't come out and help them. But they were talking about where the blacks at, come and help us. Then in the next breath, they talking against us. The hell with y'all. Fight your own battle. We did. We helped you. You didn't help us do nothing. You laughed at us. You say stuff about they need to stick the dogs and water hoses on them again. Now you see how it feel when you out there protesting peacefully and you get attacked. They said protest peacefully. When black people did, that's when they got attacked the most. Martin Luther King and his people were peaceful protesters. There's one to go to the courthouse and kneel down and pray. You can't get any more peaceful than that going for prayer. Yet they had dogs and water hoses sticked on them to go to the courthouse to register to vote. Yet they had dogs, water hoses, were beaten. I didn't see no Latinos out there. I didn't see any white people out there. I saw them marching like across the Pettus Bridge because that was a safe thing. They didn't march the black people to the courthouse. They weren't a part of the dogs and all of that. And see, during civil rights, see, black people were still under Jim Crow. A lot of people say Martin Luther King was for integration. Martin Luther King was more for freedom. It was other people talking integration. If you listen to Martin Luther King's speeches, see, black people wasn't free then. Black people were still under Jim Crow. He wanted to get black people from up under Jim Crow. It was other people talking integration. Martin Luther King may have mentioned it, but that wasn't his prime thing. His was more talking about freedom. People said, well, why were you talking about freedom back then? Black people weren't free. You thought you were. You were still in semi-slavery. It's like you got someone, a pet in the yard, got someone in the yard, you got them chained up to a pole just so far they can go. You put up a fence and let them run around in the fence. They think they're free. But they still got boundaries. So never think others is on our side. If they help us, fine. But we got to do for ourselves. Because you see now that we're not coming out there, all the names they're calling us, that's how they felt about us anyway. We need to take care of ourselves. If other people help us, fine, we appreciate it. But we don't need to beg nobody to come help us do nothing. We can handle our own. See how we did them on Black Friday and doing Target? We can't do it to the Asians because the women keep running up in there anyway. Their hair and lashes and nails mean more than their respect. Go up in there, get beat up, go back again. If a black man just jump on one of you, your whole family will be up there attacking him and tearing his place up. Black men put up a boycott of Asian place and they offer 50% off on everything. The black woman stormed up in there. So that's why I said most people just left alone. You just get what you get. But look, get back to what I was talking about. You know, we I think we're doing the right thing. A lot of people calling for us to get out there and protest. For what? I'm not protesting for no Latinos, people of color. Protest for themselves. I'm gonna protest for immigrants for. We're not gonna get anything out of that. Let them do it for themselves. I'm not getting out there protesting with someone who say they don't want to go back to a certain country, but they're out there running around with that country's flag. You want to go back there? What you doing flying their flag for? Black people are the only people in this nation who have never flown another nation's flag here. White people do it. They fly the Confederate flag. That was another nation who went to war with the United States, the Confederacy, and still doing it and honoring it. We've never flown another nation's flag over this territory. We're the only ones who haven't. The Jews fly the Israeli flag. You go by their synagogues. They got a flag with the Star of David on it. The Jewish flag. I'm going to say Jewish, but the flag of Israel. So don't save us with that. I got a couple more videos I want to show my headset. But yeah, I can hear what's going on. Not interfering with my mic.
So this woman was arguing with me on Facebook about how Trump is right to get rid of the Equal Opportunities Act by Lyndon B. Johnson because it was racist, and she's also someone who supported getting rid of affirmative action. But I'm just curious, because she's the same tone that I am, if she knows white women are the number one group that benefit from the Equal Opportunities Employment Act and affirmative action. Because prior to these laws, even we weren't getting into school the way we should have been based on our credentials. We certainly weren't getting jobs based on our credentials. We had men looking at us saying, well, you don't deserve to be in this field because you're a woman. Women can't lift 40 pounds. And they could fire you when you got pregnant. Exciting. Fucking idiots. Again, all of this is based on the fundamentalist movement, and the fundamentalist movement believes that a woman's place is in the kitchen having as many kids as possible, and she should not be out working, and she should not have the right to vote, that her husband should be voting for her and making all the decisions for her. So all of you ladies that voted for this nonsense just made it harder for your daughters to have a chance to go to college. You made it harder for yourself to get a job or get a promotion, and you made it much more likely that you and your daughters will experience elder poverty. Good job.
You know what? One thing I notice about these videos when they see what the men are doing, no one ever stopped to say that it's not the black men doing that. It's the white men doing that. White women had to. No, I got no gas. Hold on a second. I'm drinking too fast. The white women had to get the right to work bill, the right to vote. It's white men who keep them off those jobs, not black men, but no one ever says that. Now, when people say negative things about black men, they say black men. But when it comes to white men, they say men. Even black women. Black women never criticize white men. You only criticize black men. You say these old black men, but when white men do all type of stuff that hurt you. But you never speak against him. You'll put a picture of him on social media and say how cute and fine he is and how you got a crush on him. But you never say negative stuff about white men, only black men. But you notice, those white women, those are white men doing that to them. They don't say white men, they say men. They don't tear their men down as a whole, like black women do. A black man slapped you, it's these men, not that man, these men. Like every black man in town slapped you. But look, white men don't want anyone working but white men. So no one ever asks, why come those programs had to be instituted in the first place? Black people always have worked under mediocre white people. If I get on a plane and I see a black pilot and all black flight crew, I'd feel better. Because I know they can't be mediocre. They can't be mediocre and get there. They didn't get a job as a pilot because their father was a pilot. And their father works in the office in the airline. They don't get to be a policeman simply because their father was a policeman, and some of them don't even go through the academy. Black men have to go through the academy. Black people have to go through the academy, and most of them do better. You say, are they qualified? I told you this once before, a white friend of mine. But you gotta watch that though. He said when George Floyd happened, they were saying this scumbag Bob Romantic, when he passed away. What was that, a couple of years ago? But he had a radio program. He's a dead scumbag now. But he said that all the black people qualified, and the guy gonna come back to me and say, look, how does a white person become a policeman? Some black people and white people go through the same process. He said, yeah. He said they go through the academy. They go through the police academy, right? Or they come from another department after they've been through the academy. He said, right? Well, how is the white man qualified and I say person, because we got men and women police. How is the white person qualified to be a cop, but the black person is not? He still that red face and couldn't answer. Because then I went further. I told him, say, look, if you look at it, what race is the policeman who always shoot somebody and say, I thought they had a gun? Shoot a little 12-year-old boy and jumping out the car 2 seconds later. Busting through doors, killing folks in bed, kneeling down on people's necks, beating people. Some of them times they're even in handcuffs. It's usually white cops and Latino cops I see doing that. So evidently, the black cop must be more qualified. Because you rarely see black cops doing that. So who would you say is more qualified? I'd say the black cop. But see, they you know what they do? They have these emotional, irrational thoughts in their head. They really believe all that stuff they're saying and don't know how foolish they sound. And see, then he said, well, they're rioting, they're stealing everything but work boots. What work person steal work boots? They go buy them. And I told him, I said, look, you be around more black people than white people. Don't those black people work? Don't you see them going to work? You work with a lot of them. So why would you say something like that? That's your whiteness coming up. See, when you got white friends, supposedly white friends, who speak against black people. Don't let them get away with that. I don't care who they are. They're not getting away with it with me. Yeah, I'm not letting them get away with it. I'm gonna play this other video for you. Two more. Let me play this.
Move just one black family into a decent white neighborhood, and the other homeowners will throw money at you faster than you can count it.
Negroes aren't stupid. Given a choice, even they don't want to live among other Negroes.
Nothing more American than people willingly paying double for something they can't afford in the first place.
And what happens once they realize they have been swindled?
Well, you could always ask Miss Koister if you could borrow a sanitary napkin.
If they make their mortgage payments, we win. If they default, we win.
Oh, you pray they miss their nut, and then you put those houses right back on the market.
At another market. And by this time, it's an all-Negro neighborhood.
An entire population of Negroes who can't secure traditional mortgages.
Do you need an abacus?
Uncle, 6%.
Oh, there you go.
This is why I do what I do. They're willing to prey on us. They're willing to give us predatory loans. They're willing to redline us. They're willing to sit in the bank office. They're willing to sit in the district office. And they're willing to sit there and say, they're probably going to fail. And at the end, we're going to walk in and gentrify the whole place. We're going to give them pennies on the dollar for what they paid. All because we don't know how finance works. All because we don't know how the whole game works. We get high-paying jobs, but we don't set up the whole system. We don't understand something like life insurance actually has what's called living benefits within it. See, most people get it through their job, and they're like, oh, great, I have life insurance. It's trash. 73% of those policies get unanswered. See, when you get a privatized life insurance policy or a policy that you actually own, not a group policy, what you get is the ability to have living benefits. In those living benefits, what you get is, say you take a fall at work, you lose 50% mobility, it'll cash you out. Say you get critically ill, it'll cash you out. Say, for God forbid, you end up with a terminal illness, it'll pay it while you're still alive. You can get to set everything in order while you're still alive. It's a fail-safe. God forbid you die, your family's not out on the street. God forbid you get hurt at work, you get money. That allows you to keep your home. That allows you to say no to people that's going to come into your community, look at you and tell you, hey, look, we'll give you half the value of a house cash in 30 days just for the simple fact that we know you ain't got it. We got to do better. Stop buying Jordans. Stop buying all the bullshit and get your shit together. It's time. We could buy that later. We don't need the bank. The bank needs us. You know, you can privatize your own bank, but we'll talk about that later. Matter of fact, go through my other videos. You'll see something about it. We got to do better. I'm sick of this.
Okay. You know, he was saying first, I'm gonna address that first part. What the people were saying, even Negroes don't want to live around Negroes. That's a lie. If you notice, most of the time, black people start going into white neighborhoods. Though white bankers did that for gentrification, so they could start giving black people those loans and get the house back for them. They weren't going to live around white people. And if you notice, most black people who moved to more affluent areas, they moved to the black affluent area, not to be around white people. I don't know why you people think somebody want to live around you. Y'all do more fighting. Have you ever been around that white neighborhoods and they was fighting each other, busting each other windows out? Who want to live around that? So you see, I've seen it. I've seen it myself. And see the thing about it, you take like see, black people need to build up our areas. You take an area like East St. Louis, Illinois. There's a group of white people buying land, black people. There's a group of black people buying land. They want us to build a black community. But you got black communities all over the country. You can go buy some land in a black city like East St. Louis and build you a community. Why you gotta go get it from them? and pay even more for it. There's land you can get for taxes here. But see, we need to try to build up our areas instead of worrying about theirs. And you can come buy land in the black area and help build it up and help build up its population and school district. But you have to go buy something from them. They're going to overcharge you for that land. And then you can buy, instead of losing a house, you can buy a house in the black area and fix it up. Cause you could just about pay cash for it if you got a little money, pay cash for it. If you do take out a loan, it's not gonna be that much. And you can get a house cheap in these black areas. Some of them need some fixing up, but it would be better than going out paying a lot of money and losing the house. Which that rarely happens now. Cause most of the people going buying these houses, black people buying these houses can afford them now. That was at a time when they couldn't afford them. Nobody want to live around you. Black people live around other affluent black people. Even if it's a white town, they move to the black area. You're not that well loved. Matter of fact, you're not loved at all. Oh, my mic was on that one after that lady. Because she was talking about the jobs. Like I said, white men don't want white women to have jobs. They don't want anyone to have jobs. But white men, that's why you had to start DEI. DEI was started actually for white women, not for black people. Affirmative action was started for white women, not really black people. But black men. I said this. I don't know if my mic was on the first time. I don't think it was. Black men not the one to hold women back. Black men don't give you. I'm saying this again in case my mic wasn't on. Black men doesn't give you less money for the same work. White men do that. You didn't have to fight with against black men for the right to vote. He didn't have it either. That was white men. You didn't have to get the right to work bill because of black men. That was white men. And the worst part about it, black women went out with white women and tried to help them get the right to vote. Was trying to get the right to vote without black men. Black men has never went for any rights without black women being included. Black women tend to be more for women's rights than for black rights. And your problem is not because you're a woman. Your problem is because you're black. First, the woman part haven't kicked in yet. Because they see that blackness first. But look, I said that just in case my mic was off when I first came back from that video. I looked down, I didn't see a register. Yeah, but see, black people can afford some houses, not the one they move into. There was some old white guys saying that. But see, to show you, now who would be that evil? Sell a person's house so they can lose it or they can sell it again. It's diabolical. Just systematic evil. Now, I'm going to play this last video before I go. But I want you to see this. That's an affluent black neighborhood. Kind they don't talk about. I think that's Baldwin Hills, California. That's where many of the black actors and actresses, entertainers, and athletes live. Baldwin Hills, California. They had some other affluent black neighborhoods there, but that was one of the best kept secrets. I want to show you the project. That's why I say they hate black progress. You know why? I would also if I was given a 400 years head start and I'm living in a trailer and a black person living in a mansion. I've been given a 400 year head start. But yet this black child is very intelligent and mind dumb. Can he went through the same school system, don't have any mental problems, went through the same school system as mine. Mine's smart and his dumb, and theirs dumb. All these white kids are not smart like you think. Black people being educated properly are very intelligent. And that's why we were better off in black schools. Look at that when we don't have any national leaders anymore. You know where all of our leaders came from? HCBUs. Not from Harvard, Yale. They came from people like King. He came from Morehouse. Morehouse produced black leaders. But now these colleges you're going to now is producing people who want to be in the system, make a 6 figures so they can buy a lot of stuff, get rich. Nothing wrong with that. But you don't even try to do anything to help your people. You'll find a person now got a lot of money, have people working for them and barely want to pay them. I'm talking about black people. Don't be acting like them. That's their way, not ours. J.D. Vance said, you talk about the United States, but the United States has produced more millionaires than any other nation. We're supposed to be the richest nation. We're supposed to. But see, the thing about it, other nations, other people around the world don't measure their well-being by how much money they got. Everyone don't think like you. You think if whatever way the white man think, that's the best way it is. But most people in this nation say they're unhappy. It's supposed to be so rich, but it's not resonating with most people. Because you know why? Every time to have millionaires and billionaires, you have to have some people living in poverty. You have to have some poor people. When another person got so much, that means others got so little. So for every millionaire you make, tell them how many people in poverty it makes. That's nothing to boast on. While other nations boast about free health care, you boasting about how many millionaires you got. They got free education, even in college. You boasting about how many millionaires you got. You can't come any better than that. Like I say, for every millionaire or billionaire, there's millions of people has to live in poverty for them to have that kind of money. Because when so much go to one person, that's going to leave a whole lot of other people with little or nothing. That's why the poor you're going to always have with you. Because of greedy people. Now, I'm not saying a person shouldn't be a millionaire if they earn the money. But I'm talking about greed. Some of them just greedy. Because if I make $1 million, you think I'm just going to throw it away because there's some poor people? No. But I'm not going to be greedy with it. I don't have to be a millionaire to live good. I won't turn it down, but I don't have to be a millionaire to live good. I may live better. That don't mean I'm not living good now. But I'm not gonna hold you long tonight. But I just wanted to put that out there. We're not doing bad as most people are right now. Matter of fact, we're doing better than most people are. And people never thought they'd see that. That black people, there can be so much trouble in this nation. And they would be going through with black people. have already been through. They're being beaten by the police. I'm talking about white people too, because they're getting them. They're being having tear gas shot at them. They're getting everything but the water hose and dogs. That may be coming. There's still Latinos that say getting online talking against black people. We don't care what you say. You worried about us instead of getting your immigration status corrected. You more worried about us than ICE coming in, knocking you upside your head and hauling you off in a van. You worry about what we're doing? That's foolish. You need to be worried about when you walk around the corner to the store. You may not make it back home. You may end up over in Sudan somewhere or alligator Alcatraz. You need to keep your mouth off of us. We're not bothering anyone. We're minding our own business. But if that's what you want to do, knock yourself out. Don't make any difference to us. You see how this the crazy stuff y'all put up on us about social media. You notice the black people don't even respond to most of them. You know why? We don't care. We don't care what you all say. We know you're people in decline. It makes you feel good trolling us. Matter of fact, a lot of those posts about black people fighting and all that, those are bot posts. Someone put about white people posing to be black. Some of them are AI. Some of them are not even made in this nation. They're made out Russia, China, somewhere. But the algorithms come to you white people because they know that's what you like looking at. What you click on to is start sending it to you. Y'all love to troll black people. Why come we don't troll you? Because we don't care about you like you do us. You don't live in our head 24/7 like we do yours. Worry about your own people. Quit worrying about us. They on y'all right now. They on you bad. And the more that Trump fuse with Europe, they may start trying to send some of you white folks back there. This man is crazy. Don't think it's out of the question. And he see a lot of you all out there in the streets. But Europe don't want you. I know none of you all ever talk about going back to Europe. That's not an option for you. Because they don't want you there. We can go back to Africa. Well, we're not going back because most of us never been there. But we can go to Africa. But you can't run back. You can't run to Europe. I don't know if any of you all been there or not, but it doesn't make a difference. You can't go there. We can. We can go to Africa if you choose to. But you gotta give us some reparation money to go. $1 million a piece. We go. Other than that, get used to us being here. That's right. Get used to us being because we're not going nowhere broke. We have to give us some riches before we're not leaving nobody. We're broke after all we went through. We do leave. We leaving with some riches. Or we're not going at all. So thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen. This is No More Water. All right, next time, these St. Louis Flyers will be playing at 6 o'clock Tuesday at Illinois State University in Normal. The game will be at 6 o'clock. It was postponed from Saturday because of the weather. I'll be going up, and I'm going to show you again with some of the thing with the type of stuff that black people, we talk about the game. Here's what they talk about. Look at that. Read that. Attention these St. Louis families. Unfortunately, EBT and food stamps will not be accepted at the Illinois State University concession stands. Make sure stuff as much Long John Silver's into your skinny jean pockets as humanly, and she's supposed to be ads, but he put that, as humanly possible. Thank you for your cooperation, East St. Louis nation. You see? But then, now we say anything about race, we're playing the race card. But they're the ones who keep putting it in the deck. I haven't seen not one Flyer fan say anything about race. Because these St. Louis come up, we do what we're going to do, and let our team handle the business on the field. We don't have nothing to say about anybody because we're too big for that. We're too grown for that. Y'all need to grow up. You're talking that same BS for 400 years, over 400 years, calling us the same names, the same stereotypes. We don't even have any racial names for anyone. We used to call white folks crackers and hunky back in the mid 20th century because of stuff you was calling us, and we cut that out. We evolved, we grew. You didn't. You still like racial infants. Grow up. Evolve. You said you was at the top of the totem pole, the most intellectual. Well, you were not. As a matter of fact, black people invented more stuff when we was going to black school. Trump mentioned 10 inventions about a month ago. He was talking about how America does it all. Talk about how many things that was invented in the United States. But what he didn't realize, all 10 inventions was invented by a black person. It had nothing to do with DEI, affirmative action. Because they went to all black schools. All by a black person. Do you know that a black man had a car company before Henry Ford, but the government put money behind Henry Ford and took everything about the black man out of existence. I think it was Patterson Car Company. Look that up. Patterson Car Company was a black man who invented the automobile in the United States first. Well, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen. This is No More Water, Fire next time. And look, see you at the game Tuesday. Not, I'm gonna do the game Tuesday, but look, I'm not. Many times they don't allow you to do it. I have it up probably a half hour after it ends because I'm not gonna be able to do the championship game live. I can't stream it live. They don't allow it. But thank you for tuning in. This is No More Water, Fire next time. My name is Larry Duncan Allen. And I'll see you next time.